prioritizing your energy is about your life force. This is your light. And when you compromise that, you compromise your light. And imagine that's like your spark of life. If you continue to do that, you dim your light and nobody's doing it to you, right? So you're required here, your responsibility or ability to respond. Michelle King with Michelle King Coaching and the Magicking Center. Thanks so much for joining me today. Another mastery tip today is on prioritizing your energy. And I know the last video was about meeting life energetically. Today is about really focusing on self-care, discernment, and following your path. So those three things. What I mean by self-care is prioritizing your sleep, your nutrition, hydration, play. That is the energy of spirit, by the way, and it helps to neutralize kind of energies that are off balance within you, whether that's frustration or sadness or confusion, whatever that might be. It helps kind of open the door to your creative spirit. And what else? Immersing yourself in nature will help you balance and harmonize. And so it's so important that during transition, you will experience fatigue. And I go into this more in the masterclass on conscious uncoupling and navigating advanced transitions and upgrades with the elements of transformation. And this is part of the earth element, which actually comes towards the end, which is fatigue, when you're navigating spiritual upgrades and, expansion in consciousness, really. So sometimes you may notice headaches or fatigue, body pain, whatever that might be for you. Just know that, there's nothing wrong. And as you're navigating the spiritual path, you will, your body is influenced. It's all energy. Basically, it's, matter, and spirit and matter are the same. They just differ in degree. So as you're up leveling, as you are expanding in consciousness, as you are stepping into your creative power and merging with your soul, it's really powerful, right? So the body actually goes through transition as well. So if you're noticing those things like, maybe you're struggling with sleep, or again, pressure in your head, or body pain, those kinds of things, or just this like feeling of fatigue, to really prioritize your energy and do what you need to do for yourself to recalibrate and to be with yourself, whether that's going to bed earlier, meditating, being out in nature, taking a bath, going for a walk. Exercise obviously helps to move energy. Even if you're not working out as hard as you typically would, or like your regular program, as long as you're showing up to take care of yourself, to nurture yourself. This includes your thoughts. You can think of that as like your nutrition as well. What foods are you, or what thoughts are you consuming? TV shows, what are you consuming with that? Conversations with your friends and family. What are you consuming in those situations? And this is where, number 2, discernment comes in. And this is kind of a follow-up to that last video of meeting life energetically, where you get to feel into the harmonics of, is this in alignment or not? And in some, circumstances, you're going to see where people, places, circumstances are not going to be in alignment, and you're going to be required to say no to that. So, this prioritizing your energy is about your life force. This is your light. And when you compromise that, you compromise your light. And imagine that's like your spark of life. If you continue to do that, you dim your light and nobody's doing it to you, right? So you're required here, your responsibility or ability to respond is in your hands. And I'm going to be doing another video actually on the letting go aspect. And but right now it's about prioritizing your energy, prioritizing the physical aspect, but also in making those decisions, meaning it energetically, moving beyond story, recognizing that it's not personal, it's principle. And by principle, I mean energy. It's not about the story, because we can get caught into loops, right? Like, oh, but they're, this, or they're that, or this situation, it's, I can remember I was in a meditation program, and I was like, this is so in alignment for me. I'm really interested. I just want to explore for myself, and then, potentially maybe teach. But this program was about becoming a meditation teacher, which I ended up doing. But the program itself, there was something not in alignment for me, and I really couldn't understand it. I was like, this is such an awesome opportunity. This is such a great educational platform. What is it about this that I'm not resonating with? Like, what's going on here? And I just couldn't understand it, but it wasn't about that. It was the energy of it, right? And so the more I invested in that, the more I kind of like felt this weirdness, like a little bit of dread, but I didn't understand it. And I was like trying to convince myself, like, this is good for me, right? Like, this is what I need to be doing. And the hard part for me was actually letting that go. And I ultimately did. And when I did, it actually, I don't want to say freed up energy, because the energy is already there, but it meant I was in alignment at that time. Like, after I had crossed that bridge and realized it's not personal, it's principle, it's the energetics of that, for whatever reasons, it just wasn't my path. It wasn't in alignment. I did continue to teach meditation, but the group dynamic, I just had to clear out, right? And so I was noticing I had a contrast. There was another group I was in where I just, like, I was immersed in it, and I looked forward to it, and like the energy of it. And I can tell you spot on what it was. One was more about healing, a lot around, past stuff. And one was more about like accessing potential, the quantum field of potential. And so that was what was in alignment for me, which showed me there was no right or wrong. I was expanding beyond that. Like, I had integrated those aspects of, our human nature, where we meet life through story, for healing, right? And to recreate stories that do align with what we envision for ourselves. So I understand all that. That's all necessary, and that's all part of the process. I'm not saying that that's, we don't need that, right? Like, it's essential to our path. And this advanced aspect was the expansion, right? Like, the human nature is within the soul. So we want to embrace that, is what I'm saying. This is the integration of our human and spiritual nature. So in that example, I was bridging the energetics. I was starting to meet these decisions energetically without having to really understand it initially, and trusting that intuitive knowing that I just needed to let that go. And again, I'm going to do another video on that. It's this partnership of letting go, and I'll get into more details in the next video. So self-care, taking care of your mind, taking care of your body, and discernment, right? Like, making these decisions that are, sometimes difficult and challenging, and also the ones that are in alignment, and saying yes to that. So, and you'll feel the difference in the energy when you say yes to making your energy a priority, doing what you need to do through transition, and honoring that, like, so precious, like your ability to respond to your energy, is you honoring your creative powers, you honoring your life force. This is what we have here. It's your life, it's your vitality. And number 3 is to focus on your path, to make your energy a priority. And what I mean by that is your light. So when you focus on your mission and your vision in life, that's you. Mission is the integration of your human and spiritual nature, the remembering of who you are, the merging of your soul. And then, your vision, aligning with the things that you're being called to physicalize in the 3D. And again, it's not about the actual result, whether that's a home or a conscious partnership, or, a certain amount of money, or, a physicality, body wise, or vitality. It's not really about, it's like who you're becoming in that process, because those end results are inevitable when you move into alignment with it. So it's here now. If you can see it in your vision, if it's an inspired impulse that you're being guided with, it's absolutely here now. You're just choosing it, really. And it's really who you're becoming in that process, the joy of remembering your creative power, of your metaphysical skills, of your, ability to transform limits and liberate yourself and experience true freedom, joy, and fulfillment. So again, this week, I'll invite you to, play with this, make it, a 2-week agreement or a month agreement, whatever you are, feeling and resonating with, and see what happens when you prioritize your energy. You make it absolutely your priority, no matter what, and then expect to meet resistance, or expect to see all the ways that people, places, or circumstances are not energetically in alignment. And because you're changing, those things are going to change. So the people, places, and circumstances in your life that were once, in alignment in the past, that you're now meeting energetically, may be different, and paying attention to that. And then, do you have the courage to experiment with that, to align with what feels true for you, and to trust that process, to know that that guidance, that energetic, intuitive knowing, however that shows up for you, is ultimately looking out for your best interest. Again, remembering this is your life force energy. This is your light, your inner light. And if you, your light is already shining, if you compromise that, it won't feel good. You will feel like off balance and off track with your vision and mission. You will feel, less than optimal, so to speak. And so if you can just, have this personal agreement for the next 2 weeks and say, I'm going to make my energy a priority. May the universe surprise me. Show me the truth about that. I want to know what it feels like to make myself a priority, and make my energy a priority, make my self-care a priority, make my decisions a priority, in alignment with truth, in alignment with vitality, in alignment with abundance, in alignment with enrichment, in alignment with what I know to be good for me at this time. And then focusing on your path, focusing on your light, focusing on your mission and vision, focusing on everything you have, making that investment in attention, in decisions, and in actions, and your heart energy of passion and courage and love and inspiration, to let that fill you and move you over the next 2 weeks. Okay. So I will be exploring this more in the upcoming Masterclass, which is on July 28th, the last Thursday in July at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is actually what we're talking about here, is a part of the earth element in that transformational process, where I'll be sharing the elements of transformation and how to navigate a conscious uncoupling. So I invite you to come to the live. I so enjoy connecting with you all, hearing your stories, and, answering any questions you might have. So feel free to join the live. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out at mkingcoaching@gmail.com. Thanks so much for joining me today. I wish you well. And remember, you are the source of your love, power, and truth.